Ah! Whoa, jeez. Oh, right, I have to make a part 2 to Kennywood. Man, why does Past Parker always make me do more work? Okay, well, go into the video starting. Okay, I got some coffee. I'm ready to talk about Kennywood now. Our story here is going to skip a lot. We're actually skipping kind of World War II in that era to go straight to the 1950s. We're skipping a chunk of Kennywood because nothing happened then. What I talked about last video at the end, which again, recommend, it will be right here. So there will be a little bar. Okay, it's appearing. Links to part 1 right there and then. And so our show will start in 1950s. This is the Kennywood history, and yeah. So I know the first video ended in 1958, but let's just leave room for part 2 to cover everything that time. Now, after World War II, the baby boom started. Now, I know one of my friends out there's a baby boomer. And this was just because people were coming home, and well, yeah. This caused attendance to skyrocket because the local area population grew. People needed to take their children somewhere. So, overall, this was a great park for just amusement parks in general. But even though they had high attendance, they still were not the top amusement park. They were bringing in dollars, but they weren't really standing out. This is due to the competition of the newly opened Disneyland in Anaheim, California, which were actually, people traveled to go to that compared to the local park because of the famous world-recognized characters of Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. That's my best impression. And so, I'll have a video about them soon, which I've been, like, all my videos, I'm really talking about this. But a 4 to 6 parter on Disney World and Disneyland. I know a whole lot about that. That's for coming to amusement parks, and so they'll be talked about a lot. But back to Kennywood, they were losing interest because of the TV's popularity, making everyone couch potatoes. Also, at the time when you get into the 60s now, it's either Disneyland or couch potato, and you have no in between. Some people just didn't want to take their kids out to spend money when they could just be at home watching television. So, they decided to compete by adding their first non-transportable ride, the Turnpike, in 1966. This was supposed to compete with how Disneyland was adding these rides like the Matterhorn. So in 1968, Andy Virgil created the legendary Thunderbolt roller coaster by altering the old Pippin. The Pippin's Raven section and Century Fire trains remained, with the middle of the ride altered to create a series of intense helixes. The ride was dubbed King of Coasters by the New York Times in 1974, putting the park on the map for travelers across the country, bringing a new thrill that you previously didn't see in a lot of places, making it a thrill capital that you'll see later on. When I make that Cedar Point, Cedar Point became the thrill capital. In the 1960s, it came close with the complete renovation of Noah's Ark in 1969, with a large blue whale and a very squishy tongue greeted visitors for the first time, becoming an attraction that really blew people away, being like, if Disneyland can do this, you can do this? Everything's possible now, and it brought in a lot of guests. In the 1970s to the 80s, they went through a campaign to change the ideas of the park. The park, again, still, even though it wasn't part of that old-timey picnic feel, the family, it was still known for it. So being called Kenny's Grove by the locals. So, like the extremities of the 80s and the 90s, well, even though the 70s and the 80s, they punched into thrills. They focused on everything extreme. They also added their mascot, Kenny Kangaroo. Alliteration, folks, right there. Is that what it's called? Kenny Kangaroo is alliteration? Yeah. While Kennywood continued to move toward the future, the park cemented its legacy when it was named a National Historic Landmark in 1987. Kennywood is one of the only 2 amusement parks to be honored with the highest level of historic designation offered by the United States. This is due to its opening in the 1800s and known for its and being able to open and be a home for people even in times of depression and sadness, always updating, trying to change. Kennywood continued to expand in the 90s, bigger and better than ever before. The record-breaking Steel Phantom roller coaster debuted in 1991, which brought the records the world's fastest roller coaster at 80 miles per hour, and the world's tallest drop on a roller coaster at 225 feet to Kennywood. Now, this, of course, will be broken, and I'll have a video up. Literally, that go right here when it comes out about what coasters broke that record. Again, kind of shoving those in. They won't find yet, but they'll find eventually. In 2007, the local families that had operated the park for more than 100 years sold Kennywood and its sister park, the Palace Entertainment. This was not very populated by the locals, and people found it to be kind of a dishonorary to what the park had originally been, a family-owned attraction. But kind of people forget about what I talked about in the last video, the switching from owner to owner. And Palace Entertainment became one of the world's leisure park operators. So people saw this as a kind of a problem. This was 100 years after Kennywood started in 2007. So maybe it was time for a change. In 2022 and 2023, Kennywood marked its 125th celebration, bringing with it park-wide renovations, improvements, and upgrades. The Kangaroo ride returned along with the debut of Spin Invasion. Other improvements included updates to the main gate, tunnel, candy kaleidoscope, cottage restrooms, arcade gift shop, pizza warehouse, golden nugget, Patagold, and midway refreshment stands. They truly were just like, we're going to try and bring the family elements back here and move away from the 80s and 90s of the thrill, ultra coaster, and try and be more comfortable, just like their roots. Since the very beginning, Kennywood has prided itself on combining the best of the old and the best of the new, world-class thrills, iconic traditions, in an impeccable way, providing truly unique Kennywood memories for generations. The future is bright at Kennywood, and as a thrill and entertainment destination for Americans across the country. I'm gonna send you into the outro now, and this was a video about Kennywood. On to next. Hopefully that editing was good. First, I would like to say that if you notice anything in my recent videos since I came back, I switched my editing software to Adobe Express and away from CapCut because CapCut is very greedy. I don't like the corporation, first, and second of all, they really don't let you do YouTube there. So Adobe's a lot more open with stuff like that, and they're really supportive of creators. So I'd just like to give a shout out to a corporation that'll never see this video and does not care about my opinion. But I really enjoyed them, and it's way more helpful software than CapCut. CapCut's very greedy with how they treat their customers here. But I hope you liked my video on Kennywood. I'll create a playlist so you can see part 1 and part 2 back to back if you enjoy stuff like that. I make these videos, the history videos, split because some people didn't like longer videos. They wanted shorter videos that they could watch quickly. So I did, but I'll put them into playlists, and I'll also add a history playlist. So that you'll see the Kennywood actually playlist right here. Like right right here. There will be a playlist on the opening presentation. Some rundowns of quick updates here. I release, I bet you hopefully already know my schedule, but I do have the history videos. I'm always open to whatever you want. So again, in comments, I think I have a post about it. If you ever have something you want me to talk about, I'll talk about it. I really like, sometimes I need ideas. And right now I have a whole lot of ideas, but I'm always open to more stuff. So thank you for being here with me today in this video, and hope you have a great day. See ya.